Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Good, me too. I'm in the exact same mood. I'm going to tell you kind of a New York story, because that's where I lived for about 20 years. But really it's universal. I think everyone will relate to it. But this did happen to me in New York about a year and a half ago, and I wanted to share it with you tonight. First, I want to congratulate everyone on actually getting up and getting out of your house and coming here, right? Because sometimes that is so hard to do. And at the beginning of this story, that's how I was feeling in New York City, you know, because it can sort of be an intense place. And I remember it was in the sort of late fall, early winter time, and I had had a particularly rough day. And I had finally gotten home. I sat on my couch. I made a little dinner. I poured myself a healthy glass of wine. And I thought, oh my God, finally, I'm home. All I've wanted all day is just a little time to myself. And then right then my phone rings, and it's my friend Jason, and he's downtown, and he says, Greg, you have to come out tonight. It's my birthday, and I'm dying to see you. I really need to talk to you. And he was having his birthday party down in the East Village. And I lived up in West Harlem on 137th Street. So the East Village would be like 0 Street, for those of you who don't know, and I'm on 137th Street. So I didn't really want to go out of the house again. But then I remembered Jason was this guy that I sort of had a crush on. So my horniness kind of welled up in me, got me up off of the couch and on a subway train headed downtown. And isn't it funny how it's easier to leave the house when you think you might get some? So I got off the train and I made it down to the East Village, and I wanted to get Jason a gift. So I stopped in at a little shop and got him a little something. And then I went into his birthday party. It was a bar on the east side on Avenue A. And when I got there, he turned around and he said, oh my God, Greg, I am so happy you're here. I've been dying to talk to you. There's this really cute guy at the bar that I want to talk to, and I don't know what to say to him. You were always so good with people and good with words. What should I do? And I thought, oh, great. But I'm a good friend. I don't outwardly say anything. I just decide to shift gears, and I go, you know, life is short. So if you want to go talk to him, you should just go talk to him. And suddenly I'm playing the Janine Garofalo part. I don't know how that happened. But he goes across the room and starts talking to the guy, and he turns around and he gives me a thumbs up, like it's going really well. And I think, great. So I have a drink by myself at the bar, and I look over, and Jason and the guy are really into it and really talking, and I don't want to bother him. So I just leave his gift on the bar, and I tell one of his friends, you know, make sure he gets this. And then I walk out into the cool evening air, and it's pretty late now. I would say it's like about, 11:45 at night. And I'm walking along, and I'm starving. I'm really hungry. So I notice that the gates to Tompkins Square Park are open. And I think, this is great. I can cut through to go to San Loco, that taco place on Avenue A, because I am so hungry. And I decide to take the shortcut. Now, for those of you who don't know, back in the day, Tompkins Square Park not really a park you would hang out in, you know? Like a lot of junkies and homeless people. But on this particular evening, it looked downright inviting. So I walk through the gates on the Avenue B side, and I start to walk through the park. And it's sort of cool, so I pull my jacket up around me, and I think, wow, this is amazing. I'm in an enormous city full of so many people, but right now, I'm all alone. Solitude. It's exactly what I wanted. And so I continue walking through the park, and I get over to the Avenue A side, and when I get to the Avenue A side, the gate on the Avenue A side is closed. And I think, that is kind of strange. Why would the gate on the Avenue B side be open, but the gate on the Avenue A side be closed? That doesn't make any sense. And so I look around to all these little small side gates on the Avenue A side, and they're also closed. And then I think, well, I guess I'm gonna have to turn around and walk back to the Avenue B side where I came in, although Solitude, it's not that great a second time. And I turn around and I walk back to the Avenue B side. And you know what, you guys? When I got to the Avenue B side, the gate I came in was closed. And then I slowly look around to all the little side gates on the Avenue B side, and all those gates are closed. And it starts to dawn on me, oh, fuck. I am locked in Tompkins Square Park. Now, the gate is only about as high as this microphone, and most people would jump over and be on their way. But for me, that's not gonna happen. So I think to myself, don't panic, don't panic. You have your cell phone. So I go in my pocket and I reach for it, and it is out of batteries, as they always are. So I go to the gate on the Avenue B side, and I put my arms through the bars, and I say, excuse me, and people say, no, not interested, not interested. And they keep walking by. I must have shouted out to 20 or 30 people, and everyone kept walking by. And then I thought to myself, well, it's not that cold out, and they must open the gates at some time in the morning, you know? I could just like hang out on a bench and wait. And then I thought to myself, no, Greg, that's like homeless crazy talk. You have to get out of here. In fact, I think that's how some homelessness starts. You're just outside and you're like, listen, this isn't that bad. I don't need a place. I can totally hang with this. So I walk back over to the gates, and I notice these guys that are sort of ambling along really slowly on the sidewalk. And as they get closer, I can tell they're really high, like a cloud of pot smoke is around them. And I think to myself, if I duck down, they're probably close enough that I could reach out and grab them as they pass by. So, as they're walking up the sidewalk, I crouch down. And then as they pass, I grab one of them by the coat, and they go, oh my God, what's happening? And I go, no. Don't panic. My name's Greg. I came into Tompkins Square Park on this side, the Avenue B side, and the gate was open. I walked all the way over to the Avenue A side, and when I got to the Avenue A side, the gate was closed. I turned around, I walked all the way back, and the time that it took me to walk back, to the Avenue B side. This gate was closed. You guys have to help me. I am locked in Tompkins Square Park. And they start cracking up. And they go, oh my God, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. How are you gonna get out of there? And I was like, I was hoping you could help me out with that. And they said, okay, listen, don't panic. Listen, man, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our hands through the gate, lock our fingers together, and you can step on our hands, and we'll just sort of throw you up over the top. And I know that this isn't gonna work. And it's exactly the kind of idea that a couple of stoned guys might have. But I'm game, so they push their hands through the gate and they lock their fingers together. And I put my left foot on their hands, just one of my feet, and their arms start shaking. And they say to me, wow, you are a lot heavier than you look. At which point I cry a single tear. And they say, listen man, don't panic. We're gonna go to a party over on Avenue A. Yeah, we're gonna go to a party over on Avenue A, and if we see anyone, we're gonna tell them that we saw a guy locked in the park. And then they walk away. And I think, well, there goes my last chance. And for a moment, it made me value my freedom. Like just moments ago, I was walking around in New York City, but now I'm like a turtle on its back. So I'm sitting there in the park, and sure enough, about maybe 35 minutes later, a cop car rolls up. And the cop gets out and he says, he's being funny, he says, well, looks like someone locked themselves in the park. And I was like, yeah. And I said, can I get out now? And he says, well, before I let you out, how much money you got? And he's just joking around. So I say, money? I don't have any money. How do you feel about sexual favors? And then he gets really quiet. And he looks at me through the gate and puts his hand on my shoulder. And he says, man, my wife's 6 months pregnant. I'm about to bust a nut. I feel pretty good about sexual favors.
Oh my God!
And then this kind of weird thing is happening between us, where neither one of us knows quite what's going on. And it just dawned on me that I have offered a cop sexual favors at 1:45 in a dark corner of Tompkins Square Park. And I say, sir, I was just kidding. And he goes, well, I know. I was kidding too. I mean, my wife's pregnant. I have a wife. I told you. And then he reaches down and unlocks the gate. And I slide by him. And as I walk up Avenue B into the night, I thought, when the evening began, all I really wanted was some time alone. And I was feeling kind of horny. So I guess the moral to my story is, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.